Good evening. See if we can get a few bodies on. Look at how you doing. A dozen. Evening, Paul. Magic. I'm up the braes. Where am I right now? I'm about approaching 3,000 feet I'm at just now. And it's chilly tonight. I've actually got a wee woolly jumper on. I normally get the top off at this time of night because I've usually just trained, which I have just trained an hour ago. Trained early this morning, trained an hour ago. So I done the haircut myself, I'm sure you can tell. Cheap set of clippers. Who cares, eh? I watched a video there. My mate Danny Christie speaking out, feeling down, you know, having the guts to speak out and speak up. Something I've been an advocate of now for a few years online, many years in fact, speaking out about it. And still we have the taboo, and we have the, you know, the clown fraternity that should be in a circus that think. I'm using him as an example tonight. I don't normally use personal examples, but he won't mind. So someone as, you know, durable and robust as him, having some bad times, you know, talking about the highs and talking about the lows, and how these things just basically affect your everyday life. Somebody's saying that it's pointless talking online, no one listens. Everybody's got a different view in this, so I don't have an audience here, OG. I don't have an audience just now. All I have is you guys online. I've taken myself away from, you know, being in a public position where people can access you, be it somewhere you work or just on the street or whatever. I've taken myself away from that. So you're my audience. And if the volume of messages, personal messages I get, are anything to go by, from guys saying that something I've said on the videos or something one of you guys has said or suggested, between us all, me and all of you within this community, this group that we've created, AC Coming Back to Life, it's our group, the following. We're making a change. How do I know that? As I've said before, the volume of messages I get are a lot. Are an awful lot. One's a lot. If one guy or one female messages to say something yous have done, something yous have said, something you've said, something you told me to try has made a significant difference, or it's made a little difference, then you've made a difference. We have collectively made a difference to somebody's life. Now, you also don't know if that difference is going to stop that person from oblivion. About a year and a half, maybe approaching 2 years ago, I was doing a lot of stuff in Glasgow, and a guy messaged me at midnight, and he said, I follow you and you've helped me, but I'm really struggling. I says, okay. And he said, can you meet me? Now, I've spoke about this before, right? And actually, I've spoke to the guy maybe in the past few months, get an odd message from him. He was an army boy, and he said, will you meet me? And I said at the time, because of what I was doing, I said, well, I can't meet you at this time of night because I don't know you. So you have to give me more than just a random message and a random hello. So he showed me his Facebook and I searched him, and we had a couple of people that in common that we knew, right? So I basically done a few checks, and I quickly messaged somebody that was online that knew him and said, I know him. I said, what's the crack? He said, he's all right. I said, any drama with him? He went, no. I went, cool. You know, in drama I'm talking about, is he who he says he is? All I'm trying to do is verify him. Anything else other than that I can handle. So I goes along the Clyde side and I meet him. And we go for a coffee to a 24-hour petrol station down near Partick. And we had a walk up and down the Clyde and we had a bit of crack. And 15 minutes into the chat, he says, Alex, you've saved my life tonight. I said, how's that? He says, because I was going to jump in that river. And I says, well, I don't want to hear that. I went, that's horrific. And it wasn't long after that I seen somebody jumping in the river. After working at the homeless project one night, volunteering on my way home, somebody did indeed go in the river. And that ended, you know, the way you expect when you go into the river, Clyde. It ended badly. So he said, you've saved us, you've saved my life. And I says, well, all I've done is come and meet you. You've had the guts to message me. You've spoke up, you've spoke out, and here we are. I said, so I was having a rough day as well. I went, so by you messaging me and actually asking me to help you has made me feel worthwhile. So I get the peaks and the troughs, those little highs that Danny was talking about earlier, those little low, and you get the big lows as well. The way up is equally as fast as the way down some days. And, you know, it is all peaks and troughs. So I let that boy know, I'm not going to name him, that by me helping him, he had helped me. And by that whole transaction, we had helped one another. And Albert, I've spoke to him earlier, and we basically had an interaction, and what I call sharing time. So we shared a bit of time. He had a very, not a dissimilar story to my own. He had some dark days, some dark moments in his life, experienced a lot of loss with guys he'd worked with and stuff, seen a lot of nasty things, and it had affected him greatly. So he didn't believe he'd the strength to cope and handle it, but he did, and he has, and he is doing. So what did he do? Well, he changed his mindset for a start. So he stopped viewing himself as a lost cause, and he basically used some of the tools that are available to reprogram his mind into a more positive, forward-thinking, train of thought, and that not every single bad thing that happens has to be catastrophic. It doesn't. Not every single bad thing that happens has to be the end of something. A relationship finishes, right? Okay, it's finished. Then there could be a new relationship round the corner. There could be something better. A job finishes. Another great job can come. You have to get into the mindset that a bad day is usually followed by a slightly better day. Now, I'm always looking for something in the cycling world they call marginal gains. So when the pro peloton teams have stripped a bike down to 8 pounds in weight and it's on regulation and they can't do any more, then they have to take weight off the cyclist and all the rest of it. So they're always looking for marginal gains, because when the guy's like a skeleton, they can only take a tiny bit of fat off his waist or his hips or whatever, so it's a marginal gain. That marginal gain can win the Tour de France. So I use that metaphorically in my own life, and I basically always look for marginal gains. I look for one small thing that could make a change in that area of my life, but across 5 areas of my life, I'm looking for one small change. And all of a sudden, 5 areas are better by tiny marginal gains. Now, if we can all do that collectively, I've said this before and I've probably worded it ever so differently, but the rhetoric's the same. Small steps, little and often. Forward momentum. You will slip and you will trip. You might stumble back 2 or 3. Just make sure that when you dust yourself down and you push forward again, you take 3 or 4 marginal gains. A step, 1 foot in front of the other. You fall off a bike, you get back on it. If you really want to ride that bike, you'll ride that bike, you'll master it. If you really want to climb the mountain, you'll find a way to the top. We're all guilty of setting the bar too high for ourselves at times. And when we are not at our best, maybe mountains are not achievable, maybe the summit's not achievable, but getting somewhere above, where you've been before on the mountain, 3/4 of the way up the track, if you got there 3 or 4 times before, then you can get there again. The top's then not so far away, because right, well, I've been here, I can get to here, and I've held my own here at this level. So why am I stumbling down here? Why am I repeated? What's in the way? What's stopping this? Is it me? Is it something else? And if you remove the something else's, all those something else's, if you remove them, and then the only thing that is holding you back is yourself, then you have to work on you. You have to work on you. That's what's important. We all do things differently. There is no textbook for this. There's no lesson that 50 people sit and learn, go away, and they're all successful. It doesn't work like that. It's not how life is. It's not how everyday just survival. We're under so much pressure just now. Every single person is under massive, massive amounts of pressure. So we have to alleviate some of that pressure. And if we have to do it collectively as a team with each other, then we have to do that. But guys, take away everything that's going on in the media and the world, and, the price of living and all the horrible things that, those idiots in charge that apparently are looking after us, are implementing on us. Just remember, right, that everybody's got a struggle. Even those people that look to be winning every day, everybody's got a struggle, and it's a real struggle. To stay healthy physically takes dedication, and maintenance, and it also takes discipline. It's exactly the same to stay healthy mentally. It takes discipline, it takes dedication. You have to weather the storms. And I know that in itself can be tiring, it can get tiring. And you say, when is this going to end? When am I getting a break? I've had a lot of bad runs in the past few years. no such thing as bad luck. There is no such thing as bad luck. There's just bad timing. And we make our own luck. So if you want to call it that, you make your own successes, you make your own way, you make your own wake. So however you want to approach things will usually dictate the outcome. If you go into anything at 50% half-heartedly, well, the writing's probably already in the wall. Even the most broken of people can make comebacks. Everybody has it in them to make a comeback. It doesn't matter what you've been through. Don't let it define you. Don't let outside interference, what I call white noise, derail your plan, knock you off your stride, change the course of your life, the direction of travel, slow your momentum. Just don't. But you have to master the basics, and you have to look across the whole spectrum of, you know, the individual things, those individual behaviours that culminate in either failure or success. So if you're doing something repeatedly that's not working, the chances are it's not going to work doing it that way. Now I'm the master at that, because pride will kill you faster than a bullet. Let me explain. I had a business for many years, and it never really made me much money at all. Gave me a lot of enjoyable times, met a lot of good people through it, but financially it wasn't a great business. But pride kept me maintaining it and supporting it and funding it and elongating its life, probably more than a financial wizard would suggest was a good idea. So thanks, Sam. So pride will kill you faster than a bullet. Don't let pride... I've now got on top of that. No longer is pride part of the equation with me now. Yeah, I'm still in competition with myself, and yeah, I still like to prove to myself that I can do things, but I won't let pride make a fool of me. I won't let pride make me a busy fool. That's not sensible, and I don't have long enough left to work hard and get back, or possibly get back, some of which I lost. So we all have to bear in mind that the clock's ticking. Now, I have great respect for anybody, male or female, that can sit up and speak out and use their platform for, you know, proactive, genuine information and content. So it takes a lot for a proud guy, somebody like Danny, to, you know, tell you he's having bad days and there's a lot going on. It does take a lot, by the way. I'm used to it now, but he is probably not, because he's still in the absolute heat of the moment with his own personal journey. So that takes a lot for him. So show support. And also, when you're feeling in these situations, when emotions are high and you're all over the place, things can be misconstrued, and you can say things that don't come across in the best sense and all the rest of it. I know I've done it many times myself. Heat of the moment stuff, and sometimes you just need to step back and breathe and reevaluate. So there's always somebody worse off than you, and I'm very grateful when any person contacts me to say that something that I've said or done, or this group, has helped them. I'm very grateful for that. More than you'll probably ever know, because over the past few years, at times in my life, I've had nothing and nobody. And when I say I've had nothing and nobody, I mean all I've had for company is darkness and emptiness, and nothing more than that. And the emptiness of your own mind, where even silence is deafening. So I can speak truly about it, and I can speak openly about it, because regardless, if anyone wants to have a laugh and a joke at somebody's expense, my expense, doesn't do anything for me. I couldn't care less. I couldn't care less at all. Doesn't mean anything. The reason it doesn't mean anything to me is because I've seen how quickly someone that was doing well in life can lose absolutely everything. No one is out of the clutch of that. No one is out of reach of the clutch of depression, catastrophe, loss, hurt. No one. That's what makes us all equal, because we're all as easily destroyed as the next person. So never judge someone who's losing, because one day it could be you. And when you're riding the crest of a wave and life is good, stop intermittently and remind yourself that all those highs are temporary as well. And you need to find a little balance, and just, let yourself know now and again that although everything's going good, I really, really have to work hard to maintain this. If I slip, if I take my eye off the ball, if I go left, if I go right, if I let old habits catch me up, I can very quickly fall off of that wave and be back to scratch before I know what's happening. And that's a great leveler. It's a great leveler for everybody. We are all equal, because we are all breakable, guys. Don't ever forget it. And never, ever, ever allow yourself to convince yourself that if life's rosy for you, that it's just going to stay that way. I absolutely hope it does, but don't ever hedge all your bets that everything rosy is just going to keep happening in your life. There are far too many outcomes, and there are far too many what ifs and variables. Illness, just so many horrible things can happen, but also so many great things can happen in life. It's a wonderful life when it's a good life, and it's a life to be enjoyed. But just remind yourselves now and again, stay humble. Just remember, the guy in the doorway might have been the CEO one point at a company that he's sitting outside sleeping in the doorway of. You just don't know someone's story. And I've met some incredible people, and some of them have got incredible stories, and these stories check out. Toss of a coin, they lost everything, and all that got them through was their tenacity, their spirit, their grit, their determination, and a will to survive. The human spirit, it's it's indomitable. It's just a phenomenal. It's a phenomenal entity, whatever it is that's inside some people. Thankfully, I've been blessed with some of it, whatever it is, that I've got a phenomenal will to survive. And I wish I could bottle it and hand it out to people, because I have met people that don't have it, and I've always tried to convince them that it's there somewhere. They just need to know how to press the button. So, yeah, stay humble. So speak up, speak to each other, speak out. Never ever fear ridicule or rejection or, anything at all. Negativity, it's all nonsense. Don't worry about that crap. If you're talking to anyone who's not picking up on it and, kind of relaying back to you in kind, well, they're the wrong person that you started relating to anyway. And the wrong people are out there. Some people are just completely oblivious and never know a bad day. Mentally, they just never know a bad day. They don't have that depth of emotion. They just don't have it. That's not a slight on them. They just don't have it. Some people, I would say, are lucky, but some people lack empathy and they lack any kind of emotion or any kind of feeling really at all. So pick wisely who you confide in, or just talk openly on this page in the comments. I know you can do a one-on-one, right? I don't know if I think we spoke before about maybe somebody coming on, or in one night maybe 2 or 3 people coming on for 5 minutes and just talking about their story. Let's maybe do something like that and interact more and bring more people into the equation, into the chat. So there you go, guys. Never ever be scared to speak up. If somebody as tough and resilient as Danny Christie can feel the blues, believe me, anybody can feel the blues. So don't rule yourself out of that. Let me see these comments. They've been coming thick and fast, but I've not kept up, sorry. Whatever way my phone's set up, at sometimes I'm not able to see them. Albert Steptoe, I feel. Is that an Uzic? An Uzicism? I feel. Why is that happening? What am I doing here? Stronger by the day, Dot. Absolutely. Albert, very few people have got the same work ethic as the business owner. That's just standard, mate. Sometimes there's jealousy and they think you owe them something. Stephen Jones, how you doing, mate? Patsy, Sam, Paul B, Jimmy in Australia. Well, guys, thanks for coming on and talking and commenting. As always, very grateful. Very grateful. Paula, a lot of great comments. Donna, Annie, thank you very much. Yeah, appreciate it. Always appreciate it. He's not that anyway. Where would we be if we are afraid to speak? So keep in touch with one another, and if you're feeling it, really, it's very, very important that you find the courage to speak up and do not consider anyone who, don't consider explaining yourself to anyone who may be along the lines of a reply like, oh, toughen up or man up, because see, all that crap doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't work. That's not an answer. Anyway, guys, that was just a wee kind of catch up to say, to reiterate someone else's video tonight. You know, it's good to see men and women speaking up and speaking out. We always have the taboo that men are a nightmare and don't speak. Men are very slowly starting to speak. I've been doing it for a few years, and you know, you get a slow reception initially, but guys offline start to contact you and you say, I wish I had the balls to talk to you. And I say, well, you're only really doing yourself a disservice if you don't talk out. If I can do it, anybody can do it. I'm nothing special. I just talk. I'll say exactly what I've got to say. And if it saves one person, then job done. But it has to be, more people have to do it. That's why I talk about a collective. If we if we if we if we if we don't, talk about guys just need to toughen up, and people need, some people don't have it in them to just fight all the time. I've got something in me that is a fighting spirit, and at this moment in my life I can honestly say that it's endless. The energy is endless, and I don't know where it comes from. I just refuse to lie down. I refuse to back down. I refuse to be beat from adversity. And I'm glad I'm like that. I'm glad I have it in me, but not everyone does understand that. So the stronger among us have to be prepared to put a hand out for the weaker among us. Just give them a punty up. If we could all do that, it'd be a much better world, wouldn't it, surely? Well, I made a cup of tea and I haven't drank it because I'm kidding myself on. I never put any sugar in it. Last thing at night, I always have a sweet cup of tea. No sugar, just tea. And it was really crap. Yuck. Sugar. You need to realise that if you want to enjoy your tea, you need sugar in it. But if you want to look fit and have a six-pack, then you've got to go without. So I'm going to choose the sugar, and I'll do away with the Cristiano Ronaldo abs. Alright, guys. Right, thanks everyone. I hope that it is brown sugar I've got, but I'm actually not that keen on it. It's quite flavourless. Jules. Well, I hope everybody's well, and stay steady, striving, and take care, look after yourselves. You know the crack. Okay. Looker, we need a catch up, mate. OG, all the best, pal. Take care, guys. Suzanne, Paula, thank you. Albert, Davey, Paul B, brilliant.